between the lines, I believe it's a Turkish invasion of Syria that's coming, but I can be wrong. And so the bottom line is that the so-called Islamic governments are emerging as part of a plan that will allow Israel to declare that we are now under grave threat, that Islam is rising in the world, and Islam constitutes a menace to Israel and to mankind. And that seems to be the plan at work. But not all Muslims are like that. There are many, many Muslims who detest the Zionists and detest the Anglo-American oppression, it's NATO oppression of mankind, and long for freedom, and likely to turn in a friendly way to Putin, to forge an alliance with Russia in order to confront a common enemy.
I will continue with the questions, dear Sheikh. This is from Syrian Girl. She's well known on YouTube. Is there an end to the world? Is there an end of the world prophecy in Islam regarding Damascus?
Yes, there is. Damascus occupies a very, very important position in Islamic eschatology. The Prophet, Allah's blessings be upon him, has prophesied a number of events which must occur before history can end. These events, which will occur in the end time, have as their most important of all events the return of the Son of Mary, Jesus, the Son of Mary, the true Messiah. And he's going to return not in downtown Chicago, but in Damascus. In Damascus. And there's another divinely appointed figure in Islamic eschatology. You may have heard of the Imam al-Mahdi, one of the supreme figures of the Shia, but also accepted by the Sunni. Imam al-Mahdi will be in Damascus when Jesus returns. He'll be in a masjid or a mosque. The prayer is about to take place. The Antichrist and the Israeli armed forces are outside. And then Jesus descends in the masjid. And the Imam recognizes him and says, "This is the Son of Mary." In much the same way that John the Baptist, standing in the river, when he saw Jesus, he said, "Here he is. This is the man you've been waiting for. This is the Messiah." And so history repeats itself. The Prophet said, Allah's blessings be upon him, about the Great War, otherwise known as Armageddon, but we have a different word for it. It's called the Malhama. It's going to be fought by an army which is going to come out of Medina. But Medina means city. So you have the Medina of Chicago, and you have the Medina of New York, and you have the Medina of London. But there's one city in the world which is known as Medina of the Prophet, Medina to Nabi, which is in Saudi Arabia. So sometimes when the word Medina is used, it is confused with that Medina in Saudi Arabia. But in this particular case, it's the city. It does not identify the city. But the scholars who have studied the subject identify it as Damascus. that out of Damascus will emerge an army which is going to confront Rome. And in our last interview we did take up the subject of Rome, that there was a Rome which was in Rome in Italy, which was pagan. And then Constantine took it to Constantinople. And that became the second Rome, which was Christian. And then subsequently, some centuries later, Rome then became Christian, discarding its pagan roots. And then when Constantinople was conquered in 1453, Rome then went to Moscow. So in the Quran, when the Quran was revealed, Rome was Byzantium. But prior to the Quran, Rome was in Italy, Rome. So we now have two Romes. We have one which is Eastern Christianity, Byzantium, which has Russia as its headquarters, and a man named Putin is the new emperor of Byzantium. When he visited Israel recently, he was hailed as the new emperor of Byzantium. And then we have the other Rome, which was pagan, and now is Roman Catholic and Protestant, the Western one. So we have to face an enemy called Rome, which is going to land in that area between Turkey and Syria. And when the armed forces land over there, then this army is going to come out of Damascus to face them. And that's a big war, which we will win. We will defeat them. And when we defeat them, that Muslim army will then go on to conquer Constantinople. Some of the major events still awaiting to occur in history are the return of Jesus, the conquest of Constantinople, which obviously would be liberation from the control of NATO, and the defeat of a Western army in the area between Syria and Turkey. And all of these have Damascus as their central point. So Damascus does play a very central role in Islamic eschatology.